Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Iris Podcast After Dark Edition. I'm your host.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Mr. Yeti. Joining me today, we have Captain Jack, we have Booth, we have NPC, and Bard. Thanks again for everybody tuning in. What a fantastic feature match. Void putting a statement game out there with a 4-0 victory over the Holy Jalapenos to close out our regular season. Guys, it's time. It's something we built up to all season. Players have popped off all season, and now we finally get to see who are the cream of the crop, the top of the class, who is the best Tranquility has to offer. That's right, the end of season award nominees are being announced here tonight. So these nominees, for those who don't know, are picked by your every team picked one person for each category, and then there was a small committee of Tranquility veterans, leaders, and captains who was put together to pick your 8 nominees in the Harmony and Discord tier and the 6 nominees in the Transcendence tier for each category. And we'll be going through them tonight. We'll be giving you some of our picks in each of those categories. But first and foremost, we do have to speak to the fact that, guys, now the season is over. Well, unfortunately for me, season's over. All that work with the Fighting Potatoes meant nothing. It's all done. It's all over. NPC, it's all over for you too, man.
It's all over.
It's all over. I mean, I know you never were. Yeah, just
Yeah.
It's so true though. It's so true. You never. It's over for all of us here. So you know what? With all these teams being gone, it's time to,
Here it goes.
in my very own selfishly hilarious way, pay tribute to those who have come and gone. So with that, we bring you our seasonal segment, In Memoriam. You guys will sorely be missed.
Too soon.
I have so many tears.
Mm-hmm.
So many tears.
So anyway, we lost teams this season?
Yes. So anyway, we that's
okay.
the end of this one. But honestly, you guys are gone. Nobody cares anymore about y'all. I'm just kidding. You guys are great. Let's get into something exciting to talk about. We have your. I need to take these off because I can't see anything through that. Let's get to the first set of nominees here for your end of season awards, and we'll start it off here in the Transcendence tier. Transcendence tier is your first category here today. We have eight different awards for each tier, and we're going to start it off again in the Transcendence tier. We will start off first with your nominees for the best main tank. Now first here from Arctic, Tony Cannoli. Moving it over next to Good Boys, we have Keegan. Next, playing from Orbit is Bluebit. Following up that is from Otaku Empire, Blur. And then Yeeter from Pogfish. And then last but not least, D-Waffle from the team in the number 1 seed, that is Tempo. I have to ask here, starting off with the main tank specialist himself, Captain Jack, who is the favorite here in the main tank category in the Transcendence tier?
Oh, excuse me. I have to clean these things off because everything was such a blur. You know, just like my choice for favorite main tank, Blur of Otaku Empire is everything you want in a tank player, and that's not being identified as the biggest feeder of your team included. Phenomenal performance this season from them and the rest of their team, and I cannot wait to see how far Blur takes them in the playoffs.
Right. NPC, you are uniquely qualified to discuss this category, would you say?
I'm uniquely qualified, yes.
Who stands out to you as a dark horse in this category?
Dark horse. It's got to be somebody that, we don't talk about a lot. Somebody that doesn't get mentioned a lot. And, it's a good thing that, I'm wearing all this Dallas Fuel stuff because I burn Bluebit.
Oh
my goodness.
From Orbit. And
nice.
Orbit, of course, having just the best logo, the most welcoming, best feeling logo in all of the tranquility. Like, if it was more purple, I think it might be even better. But other than that, I think they're a great team.
Enough of NPCs reminiscing here. Let's get to the off tanks now in the Transcendence tier. Again, congratulations to all the nominees. Starting off with Velzen from the Meta Rejects, Solsta from Orbit. Moving over now to Pogfish, we have Laskin. Now for Primal, Deputy Boz. Then on to Requiem, their GM, Sebs. And last but not least, from, again, the number 1 seed, we have Swactatious from Tempo. Looking at this one here, Booth, who's their favorite?
All right, just throwing out right off the bat, there's no pun for this one, so I'm sorry. You have to wait until you get NPC and Jack back again. I just produced for like an hour and a half. There's no puns left up in this head. They're gone. So I went with, I had the favorite in this category, and I went with Laskin from Pogfish. I mean, though they faltered a little bit towards the end of the season, whenever you watch any of those matches, it was pretty clear Laskin is definitely one of the top off tanks in the tier, without question.
Okay.
No question about that. Who's your dark horse in this one, Bard?
Yeah, so I think a dark horse, they've got to be good. They got to be someone we didn't expect early on, someone who didn't really get talked about a lot. And they got to have that it factor. And, when I think about that it factor, I think about someone who's got a lot of swag. And for me, that means I had to pick Swagtatious from Tempo because we weren't talking about Tempo early season. We didn't really expect anything from them when they came in. And here they are with the number 1 seed, and I think Swagtatious is a big part of that. So I think he really is that underdog to really win this.
All right, enough of the puns. Let's take it over to the projectile category here in the Transcendence tier. Your 6 nominees, starting off again with the Meta Rejects. We have Nerdables with his first non-support nomination since season 1. We have Robe from Orbit. Taking it now to Pogfish again is Merge. Then on to Primal, the Pharaoh One Trick himself, Pro Gamer 360. Then on to Requiem, Divinity. And last but not least is the man. He is the Brad from Tempo. All right. Again, going to you now. NPC, you are uniquely qualified as a projectile DPS player.
Yes, uniquely qualified.
Uniquely qualified. Can you give me your take on this one?
So when I think about favorites for All Stars, I mean, I am a little bit biased and uniquely qualified to say that it's basically a popularity contest and it's all about name recognition.
True.
So but you know what? I like to make a complicated spreadsheet and all these formulas and algorithms. So when I'm calculating who's going to be the favorite, you could say I'm a little bit of a nerdables from Meta Rejects. I think that Nerdables just got the name recognition, just an all-around swell guy, amazing person. Probably not the best projectile DPS, but definitely going to get some votes just for being such a cutie pie.
Who's the dark horse coming out of this one here, Booth? I'm sorry, Captain Jack.
You know, I have to gush a little bit and say that I just absolutely love watching Transcendence Tier play. I mean, it ebbs and flows so nicely most of the time. One could say that some teams have a divine style of play, and that's why I chose Divinity of Requiem as my dark horse for the trans tier. I mean, Snipes does get a lot of love for clicking heads, but Divinity is out there causing just as much controlled chaos during the match as the rest of them. I cannot wait to see what beautiful songs they compose with their destruction during these playoffs.
The pun game is legit and real right
it's
now.
After dark, baby.
It is we are after dark here on the podcast. So let's take it now over to your hit scan category in the Transcendence tier. Your hit scan nominees are, starting again with Meta Rejects, we have Horus. Then on to Shinobu from Orbit. Next is Mirage from Otaku Empire. On then to from Pogfish, You Can't See Ghost. Next is Snipes from Requiem, and wrapping up again from the number 1 seed Tempo is Willow. Who stands out here as your favorite in the Transcendence tier hit scan parade, Bard?
So, look, as a Phara 1 trick, I am actually uniquely qualified to talk about hit scan players. I know that doesn't seem like it quite works out, but trust me, the math's all there. I ran it beforehand. And really, I agree that with NPC that this is kind of a popularity contest. And if there's anyone who you could just say their name and I would see the clip in my mind of them playing Widowmaker, it's Shinobu. You say Shinobu, you talk to me about his Overwatch gameplay, and I guarantee you everyone has seen the Route 66, map names are hard, clip from Shinobu flying up last season.
Yeah.
Doing the jumps, doing the flicks, absolutely nuts, cracked out of his mind. That he's got my pick to win it.
I think there's definitely some upsets here too. And it was brought up in chat. EXO, winner of the Widow 1v1, not even nominated. A little surprising.
Ouch.
Also, Rosen, season 4 All-Star,
yeah.
not nominated as well. I'd say those are some surprises to say the least here, but there's a lot of talented hit scans in this tier. That's part of the big problem is like, I look at EXO obviously has played incredible, for Twilight Fox, the same with Rosen for Arctic, but like, who can you immediately say that they're better than out of that pile? It's hard to say that. There's legitimate cases in all cases, but anyways, I digress. Dark Horse here. What do you have for us on this one, Booth?
Yeah, this was a tough one. A lot of great names to pick from there. So I went with someone that I've got to see, I think, twice this season during featured matches. It has tended to be that I was either casting or producing for them. And the one that came to my head, it wasn't Widowmaker play, it was Tracer play, and that was Mirage from Otaku Empire. Their dive was, so good this season, and I just have so many memories of them getting 2-3Ks on Tracers on some of those divey maps, and that was definitely, I think, one of the dark horses in the tier and really helped their team succeed in this season.
All right, let's take over to the main support category now in the Transcendence tier. Your first nominees are, starting off with the good boys, GM Pinhead, Meta Rejects member Kumo. We have Azzy from Orbit. We have Randy from Pogfish. But from Requiem is Bleach. And last but not least, your main support nominee from Tempo is Tankser. Who is your favorite on this one, Captain Jack?
Well, since we are all judging who we feel that our favorite is, I'm going to have to give, for my favorite main support, a 10 out of 10 zer. Because, tanks may set the tempo of engagement but supports like Tenzer just keep the beat going, literally the heartbeat. They keep people alive. Come on, don't you know how this game is played at this point? Another support leading the charge when it comes to top tier Overwatch gameplay. They are a big contender for the playoffs with their team tempo, and with Tenzer in the back line or on that Lucio just bumping out the beats, their team is going to be playing to a beat of their own drum.
All right, and your dark horse in this category, NPC.
Okay, dark horse. Once again, I got to go with a team that we don't talk a lot about, but are actually doing really, really well. And also, when I think about main support, okay, I think about healing, and I think about health, and I think about world-renowned physician Bethcon 2 and her advice about coronavirus. And her advice with coronavirus is to definitely drink bleach. I think about bleach from Requiem.
Oh man,
I'm gonna say on Beth's behalf, because I know she's actually saying it right now when she watches this. She's either saying it live as we speak right now as she's watching this, or when she watches the VOD back. Do not drink bleach.
Don't actually
drink
do it.
bleach.
Don't do it.
It's a running joke.
Because
don't
drink bleach, because bleach has got to keep playing.
Exactly.
Bleach
is needed correctly.
If you
not drink bleach.
If you drink bleach, then they won't be able to punch Faras in the sky.
Exactly.
Come on, folks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna also double down on that. Don't drink
bleach.
Don't drink bleach.
Yeah. I just hold on. I just got word from our legal
Thank
team.
you, Solitaire.
Yes, don't drink bleach.
Right. Legal says don't drink bleach.
All right. Let's take it over to your flex supports now. Here it's coming up. We have starting off with the good boys flex support Capital. Next from the Meta Rejects is Sumiero, season champion. We have from Orbit, Balakay. From Pogfish, Aqua. From Primal is Delphi. And last but not least, from Requiem, the Maz Effect. All right. Who is coming at you here as your flex support favorite? Let's take it over then to Booth.
This is a pretty tough one here, especially towards the end. Flex support, I think, have seen probably some of the biggest changes this season across like what heroes they played. I mean, at the beginning, they were all on Baptiste and seem to have a bit more flexibility now, kind of picking up the Ana. So I'm bringing it back to a team we've talked about a few times tonight with Balakay, getting my pick there on Orbit. They did a fantastic job this season. I remember their Baptiste plays early on in some of their, I think in their featured match, I wanted to say it was. Yes. And then I think picked up the honor for them at the end as well. And definite pick there for me on flex support.
All right. And who is the underdog pick here? Who is the dark horse bard?
Well, I when I pick underdogs, right, they've got to have at least a little bit of name recognition, at least with the team that they're on. And there's a couple teams that this second stage here that have really picked up some steam, have really, really jumped up their game, and have sang some sweet, sweet requiems to those early number one seeds to put them to bed. So I've gone with the Mass Effect from Requiem. Requiem are so sleeper right now. They are genuinely really good. And I think that support line kind of is pulling them right along through there. They're really keeping those tanks up. They're keeping those DPS in positions where they can just do whatever they want. And in Trans tier, like one bad support or one good support could be the difference between winning or losing every game you play. So I think Mass Effect deserves a lot more credit.
Can I just say, if anybody's sleeping on Requiem at this point, then
wake
the hell up.
You ain't sleeping.
They're in the third seed.
Anymore.
Like, wake the hell up. Like, they've had an amazing run this season, and like, you haven't been paying attention to Requiem. They're a good team. They're a really good team. And they put Tempo on notice. They had a really good match with Tempo. Tempo played really well as well. Speaking of teams we saw out of nowhere, Tempo, like,
yeah.
I could go on and on, guys. There's so much to talk about with that. We're going to talk about some of that next week. We'll have a full bracketology podcast breaking down everything after the wild card week coming at you next week. So let's take
Nice
it now
Luke.
to the most improved players. Now, most improved, it can have a lot of different meanings. We're going to clarify that right now because a lot of people in chat are going to be like, oh, what does most improved mean? I just got here this season. Whatever. Guys, most improved can mean a lot of different things. It can mean how well you did, how much you improved over the course of a season, how much you've improved from prior seasons in some cases of some players. There's a lot of reasons to talk about, or a lot of different ways to describe the most improved player here in Season 5. So let's start it off now. From Arctic, we have Graphics. Going now to Orbit, we have Solsta. Next is from Otaku Empire, Blur. Taking it back again to Primal, we have Delphi. Next on... Oh, that one didn't get changed, but on Tempo, it's Tankser. Sorry, that graphic was a little messed up. And on Twilight Foxes, you have Scene. All right. Sorry about that. So again, the nominee from Tempo was Tankser, not Delphi twice. So
Delphi's got too powerful.
that. By the way, I did some of these at 2 a.m. You're welcome. All right. Most improved player, starting off with the favorite here. NPC, who's your favorite?
The favorite... You gotta look, and you gotta look, and you gotta look, and you gotta keep looking until the favorite is seen. From Twilight Foxes, it's really a stacked roster, and like you said, most improved goes a long ways. But Scene has been around a while. We've seen what they can do, and I think that there's clear improvement there, and sometimes it's about name recognition. So. Scene has it all.
Scene Season 3 Harmony tier player, Season 4 Coach, then Season 5 suddenly Transcendence tier DPS. Kind of came out of nowhere there. Who is your dark horse here, Captain Jack?
You know what, NPC? You say Scene, I say Salsa. Wait. No, Solsta. Sorry, Solsta. From a little team you may know, NPC. Just saying, you've been bragging about him all season. Orbit, best logo, just saying. Although Orbit has been struggling a little this season, that is not
Sandbag.
Solsta. Sandbagging, of course.
It's all in the logo.
Yes, that's it. That is not keeping Solsta from reaching for the stars. From some credible sources, they moved this season to the off-tank role from being a Doomfist one trick, again, just from my sources. And I feel like literally they are punching their way up through the tier on that off-tank role. So let's see what else they got come the playoffs.
All right. And finally, your last category in the Transcendence tier is your best coach. Now, a lot of teams in the Transcendence tier do not have coaches. So we did only have a few nominees for this one, but here are the picks for best coach in the Transcendence tier. Starting off with, from the good boys, Magnafrog. Moving over to Folklore Gaming, we have 9. Next from Dirt is Maybe Next Time. Now on Otaku Empire is Hattori. And then from Primal is Robert. And then last but not least, from Requiem, we have Spacefire. All right. Who is the favorite coming out of this one here? Who do you got, Bard?
Well, I've already made my Requiem pun. It's Spacefire.
You didn't prep too? Come on.
It's really late. I've not been sleeping very much. I've made one pun for each team. Spacefire is really smart. Requiem play really smart, really good Overwatch, and I think that that's really, really apparent in their game versus Tempo. So I don't see anyone that I could really pick that has made such a tangible impact on their team other than Spacefire.
All right, so we were originally going to run the montage here, but I'm making an executive decision that we are going
one more, right?
We're going to run the montage.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, we have one more thing. You're right.
One more.
No, you know what?
You're going to make Booth go to Fortnite again. Knock it off, Yeti.
You guys
all right, you're right.
These puns I can't keep up with.
Nobody wants that. Okay, all right.
I don't want that.
All right, who's the dark horse coach here?
Okay. Real quick first, I want to point out, I think we've picked Requiem for 5 out of 8 categories. That's telling you something. But so mine, a little bit, I took advantage of the fact that I have access to the YouTube channel to see unpublished VODs. So I went with Magnafrog from Good Boys. I got to watch back a lot of their beat drop, and it's pretty clear Magnafrog is definitely a pretty big influence in help keeping the team together and helping coach them through.
All right. So now, as I was saying, that is the end of the Transcendence tier nominees. Let's take it now over to the Discord tier. Guys, there's a lot in the Discord tier. We had 8 nominees for each category in Discord tier. And let's start it off first with your main tank nominees here in Discord. First and foremost, from Barbados is Takanom. Then from Battalion is Norimac. From Exodus, he is the one, the only Mighty Bear, the Cryptic. Not Cryptic J-Force? Anyways, from Holy Hacking Habaneros is Mr. Trippy Cow. From Praxis is Tough Actin Terractin. Then we have SEAL Team Spuds Rigmadon. From Tailwind is Zuby, or Cubed. I guess it depends. And then finally from Tempest, we have the Plat known as Vets. All right. Who is the main tank? Who's the best? Who's the favorite coming out of this one? Captain Jack.
I have got to say it. There are no enigmas here to figure out for folks. It is straight to Cryptic from Exodus, a name well known in the tank community, and as a main tank has been leading Exodus to that Discord tier championship. I'm sorry, I got nothing else for this one. They got it on.
Been leading the Exodus.
Yeah, they've been leading the Exodus to the finals.
All right, NPC, who is your dark horse here?
All right, dark horse. You know what? I gotta think about players that have been around a while, but you know they're moving up. They're up in a Discord tier now, and I'm thinking about Terractin from Praxis. Definitely a fantastic leader and shot caller. Amazing player for that team. Doesn't get talked about a lot. Doesn't make really huge plays on his own, but really he enables the team to make plays, and that's the job of the main tank, is to take that space, and he does that very well.
All right, let's take it over to your off tanks next here, guys. Off tanks here in the Discord tier started off with MB Compton from Battalion. Then let's go to Greninja from Flying Lions. Next from Heckin' Habaneros is Chimanzi. From Joey Esports is Navino. Then from Praxis, Danae. From SEAL Team Spuds, Choke EXE. Then from Tailwind is Climate. And then last but not least, from Tempest is Shadowfang. All right, your best off tank is, again, what a loaded category for the record here. There are some great off tanks that didn't even get nominated.
Yeah,
I look at Phoenix from Supernova. I look at Shell Shock from the Dumpster Divers, Vietnamese from Barbados, Cactus from Exodus. Like, there are some insane off tanks who aren't even nominated here. What a loaded category. Who's the favorite that's climbing to the top of this? Booth, you are uniquely qualified to talk about off tanks in the Discord tier. So why don't you tell us what your take is on this?
Uniquely qualified. I'll take that. I'll take that. This was a tough one. There's so many. So the way I looked at this one was a little different than finding the flashiest plays that maybe would pop up and show off as being one of the top tanks in the tier. And I went with somebody that I know has been key to the success of their team this season. Success that I don't think many people expected, and that is Shadowfang on Tempest. Obviously having a great season, going into the playoffs really strong, and I think Shadowfang had a lot to do with that.
Shadowfang, fantastic player, long-time Tranquility veteran as well. Dark horse coming out of this category. Bard, who do you think?
This was the hardest one to pick a dark horse because
so hard.
It's a lot of good tanks.
I recognize everyone here.
Yeah.
Just immediately by name. I recognize everyone. So I had to kind of go with who do I recognize the least, or who has been talked about the least. And so I decided to go with, I was saying Nano from Joe Esports, but I guess it's Navino.
Navino.
So I went with Navino from Joe Esports simply because I think we've talked about everyone else more. And not because he's bad, because I've watched a couple of Joey Esports' games, and Navino's really good on that off tank. And I think he is definitely someone to watch going forward. But he's just has the least name recognition. So I think he probably is not in there with as much of a chance as everyone else here who we all know.
It's worth noting when you look at Joey Esports, team that had a really tough stage 1, they're in the 3rd seed.
They're bringing it back, baby.
They brought it back.
Hard.
They brought it back. Like, I'm just saying, crazy how much talent there is just overall in this category. Like I said, there is literally like I can name 13, 14 off tanks here that were nominated who deserve to be here. And we haven't even talked about like Ryan Reyes or Beepo. Like, wow, like there's a crazy level of talent here in the off tank category. So let's go this next one here. Let's go over to the projectile category. Started off with from Battalion Mudkip. On Exodus, we have Panda Games. On to the Heckin' Habaneros, you have Waffle Man. Then on Lightspeed, you have Gengu or Noam. From One Tricks is Cloxer. Next, from SEAL Team Spuds, Laser Blitz. From Tailwind, you have Polar. And last but not least, from Tempest is Iconic. All right. Again, big category here. Lots of names not even on the list here that were nominated by their teams. Again, crazy level of talent.
Yes.
Who is the favorite here? NPC.
Oh God, this tier, like Discord tier in general is pretty stacked. There's a lot of well-known players here.
Yeah,
a lot of talent in every single one of these categories. And I look down this and I look at these names and I'm like, you know what? I need when we're gonna talk about a favorite, I need a player that I can just be a big fan of, and that everybody's a fan of, and that everybody seems to stan this player, and everybody stands Panda Games. From Exodus. And you stand Panda Games. It's what you do.
Stand the games.
It's what you do. You stand the Panda Games. All right. Who's the underdog coming out of this category then, Captain Jack?
You know what? For the team that we're getting ready to talk about, PDK gets so much spotlight on Battalion. But you know who gets the picks when PDK isn't there to blow it up? That's right. It is the water starter of Generation 3. That is Mudkip. Who needs a junk when you can just click heads? Forehead. Mudkip's water gun, no matter on what hero, is always very effective, keeping those integral players out of the fight and leading Battalion to victory.
I think we need to have a real talk here real quick. I need to talk to PDK because you're the captain, the GM of Battalion. You nominated yourself as a hit scan.
Ooh.
When is Junkrat a hit scan?
Actually, PDK played Widow for one game this season.
Oh, he's a hit scan now. He's a
okay.
hit scan now.
Did they win that game?
Oh boy,
Yeah, they actually did win that game.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Then there you go. Okay, 100% win rate. He's retired.
Yeah.
Just have so many questions, but anyways, all right, let's take it over to.
I learned that Ash was a projectile DPS apparently. So I mean, we all have questions right now.
She throws the dynamite like a
All right.
projectile.
Just
That's what it
remember,
is.
just remember, the most important thing to know about PDK is when you're playing Among Us with him, if he's still alive,
It's him.
Sus.
Yeah.
Sus.
Get him out of
Get
here.
him out of here.
get
man,
him
it's
out of
easy.
here. Let's go to the hit scans now, guys. Hit scans. All right, start off with Barbados. We have Creamery. Over to Exodus now. We have Poochie. We have Upsetting from Flying Lions. Krev from Holy Jalapenos. I'm sorry, Heckin' Habaneros, pardon me. From Lightspeed, Abstract. From the SEAL Team Spuds is Recon. From Tailwind is J Vice. And last but not least, Sound of Mind, your Widow 1v1 champion from Tempest. All right. Again, big category here. Lots of great players.
Gosh, man.
What do you think here? Definitely some subs. I look at, or some snubs. Nano, Kuribo, PDK, I would argue, is a bit of a sub. I know I just made fun of him, but he's still a snub here, guys. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's
On the
take
hit
it.
scan.
Flying glory.
True.
100% win rate though. I mean, 100%.
Who's the favorite for you guys here on this one? Let's take it over to Bard.
As the undefeated podcast challenge Widow 1v1er, I am uniquely qualified to talk about hitscan DPS. And there were 3 here that I really wanted to pick. It was a 3-sided coin toss to decide this one, but I decided that I couldn't be calm about this. I had to go crazy, and no one goes crazy like Poochie. So
yeah,
Poochie go
Poochie is my pick. That man is outstandingly cracked on pretty much every hit scan he picks up. I love watching him play, so he is going to be my favorite to win this.
All right. The dark horse pick here, Booth. Who do you got?
Yeah, tough one again. This whole entire tier is insane to try to get through. But I went with J Vice on Tailwind. I was really close to picking Upsetting, but I ended up going with J Vice because although Tailwind, I mean, of course, finished pretty well this season. I didn't hear as much about him. I feel like I didn't get to see as much. Their feature matches came later, so I feel like J Vice kind of slid under the radar. Been around for a few seasons and they showed off for sure, but I think J Vice fits in that slot really well there as the dark horse for the tier.
All right. Your main supports category now. We start with Placebo from Exodus. We go to Mix from Heckin' Habaneros. That's right. He's nominated for a good category. True Donger from Joey Esports. Rare Soccer GB from Lightspeed. Curb from The One Tricks. Deegan from Praxis. We go to Mitz for Kits from SEAL Team Spuds. And then last but not least, from Tailwind is Catatrix. All right. Lots of great support players on this list. Who's the favorite in your eyes, Captain Jack?
So in normal times when we're not locked inside our houses, I love to go out and enjoy a night on the town. And sometimes that may involve some time under the big top. And this player is like a tiger at the circus, you know, a cat doing tricks, or a catatrix for short, maybe.
What the hell?
All right, well, they can't all be winners.
That was a long one.
I tried. That's all that counts in this After Dark series. All right. Tailwind has stayed really successful for so long this season due to the massive support that they are receiving from their support players, especially Catatrix, bodacious beat drops, crisp coalescence cleanups, and satisfying sleep darts are always well-timed and doing all they can to keep that team rocking and rolling to the finals.
Right. NPC, who do you got as your dark horse?
Dark horse. This category is pretty stacked. There's a lot of good players in here, okay? But when I look at this, there's one player on this list who basically doesn't deserve to be here and will only win due to name recognition, and that's Mix Ready Overwatch. No, seriously, Mix has done a pretty good job. Big improvement over the last couple of seasons. Really fantastic player. Probably not as good as some of the others, but name recognition goes a long way when it comes to all-stars. I am uniquely qualified to say that. So I say Mix Ready Overwatch. He's my dark horse.
There's a lot of good players in this tier again who didn't get nominated. Evates from Barbados stands out to me. Akua from Dumpster Divers, Carnage from Tailwind. Lots of good players. Again, there's just a lot of talent in this tier. I know I see some people like, how did this person not get nominated? It's tough, man. It's a tough tier. A lot of these nomination polls were really close. So, let's take it over to your flex supports now. With flex supports, let's go to first from Arctic Foxes, Cucumber. From Battalion, Sushi. Then from Flying Lions, Anzi. From Heckin' Habaneros is Legalots. From the One Tricks is Puffball. From Praxis, A. Woodies. From Tailwind, Monica. And last is Nagisa from Tempest. Again, great stacked category of fantastic flex supports. Bard, who is your favorite? I'm sorry, Booth, who's your favorite on this one?
Yeah, tough again. I'm probably gonna let some people down with the pick, but mine is going over to Sushi on Battalion. If you ended up catching their YouTube feature match against the Flying Lions, Sushi disconnected for one of the maps, and actually PDK came in and did a fantastic job on the Moira. But you definitely noticed how their team is built around Sushi there on that support role. Does a great job there when they were running the Baptiste. Did a great job with the Moira. Pretty integral part of the previous teams they've been on, and no different now with Battalion.
All right, and your flex support, Dark Horse here. Bard, who do you got?
Yeah, there's some big names in here, and I wanted to stick with the spirit of a dark horse, of someone who I don't expect to win, but who kind of could fly under the radar and win it all. So I went with Onzi from the Flying Lions. A couple seasons of name recognition under their belt, and absolutely incredible flex support overall. And I think that they're getting slightly overshadowed by a few of the people in this category right now. So we're not thinking about them as a front runner. But if one or two of these other people weren't on this list, they would 100% be on like the top two to take it. So I've got them there as my dark horse to maybe clean it up right at the end.
And it's worth noting, somebody has pointed out here, Monica did end up being released from Tailwind. It sounds like they're no longer going to be playing the rest of the season. So we do go to our alternate nominee for this category in Monica's place, but we did want to give Monica the shout that they do deserve on this one. The alternate for this category is Sadfire from Supernova. So Sadfire will be taking the place in the poll here of Monica on this one. So sad about Monica, a fantastic support player, but congrats. Sadfire will be jumping into this one here as the alternate nominee. So congrats to Sadfire on that. Let's take it over to now to your most improved players in this tier. Most improved. We will start off with Mudkip from Battalion. Next is Seb from the Dumpster Divers. Cinnamon from Flying Lions. Mix from Heckin' Habaneros. Cloxer from One Tricks. Your Teammate from SEAL Team Spuds. Cthulhu from Tailwind. And Iconic from Tempest. Lots of fantastic players here, no doubt about that. Who is your favorite NPC?
My favorite for most improved. This is another stacked category. There's a lot of players on this list that were Harmony tier 2 seasons ago, last season, and have moved on up to Discord tier, and just like a lot of them, good people. It was so hard for me to pick, but I picked somebody that I've actually played with on a team. Well, sort of. I picked Seb from the Dumpster Divers. Not only is Seb the only dumpster diver in this category here, but just a fantastic player, an amazing support, kind of a little bit of a Moira one trick for a while, but really a lot of flexibility right now. And I think Seb is going to be a front runner.
And as the Dumpster Divers #1 fan, mostly because this is my 3-year-old son's favorite logo, he calls it the Waccoon shirt. He says, "Daddy, your Waccoon shirt." Which, god darn it, is just the cutest freaking thing, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
But anyways, who's the dark horse on this one? Captain Jack.
So again, as NPC stated, as we've all been saying, trying to pick a dark horse amongst so many well-known names is probably the hardest thing to do. And this may be a little personal bias, because as much as I tried to get away from my children. I tried not to show any bias, but I got to give some love to the best Spice Girl that you never heard about, and that's Cinnamon Spice. I mean, they talk on their streams so many times about the reason that they play healer is because it's so mindless, but nothing can be further from the truth. Do you know how boring it is as Anna to shoot Ryan's butt with freaking darts over and over again while they're trying to feed, and all you're trying to do is keep them alive?
It's not boring in a dive meta. Just saying.
I mean, it depends on if you consider Rhine a dive character. I'm just saying.
Ryan is a dive tank if you feed hard enough.
Yes.
Exactly. If
Ask
you feed hard
Cryptic
enough.
Force.
But nevertheless, it takes
The
a
way Pumpkin
massive
plays it,
amount-
yes.
It takes a massive amount of concentration and map and team awareness to know where that nano needs to go. When we speed boost in, where are those boops and sleeps going to be the most effective? And I've seen them climbing this entire season, knocking at Diamond's door while playing in the Discord tier with other Diamond and Master players. And I really feel like although their season has not been so great, these Lions are going to fly so high in the playoffs with this incredible healer on their team.
All right. And your best coach nominees in the Discord tier. Let's start it off with from Battalion, Andy. From Exodus, Ochre. Back to the Flying Lions is Ellie. From Heckin' Habaneros, HQC. From Praxis, Mammoth Gamer. From the SEAL Team Spuds, the Scottish Supernova, Merited. From Supernova, Shinobu. And from Tailwind is Augers. He did pay me to say Scottish Supernova. He didn't actually pay me. I really wanted to, so I went with it.
Oh,
all right. Let's go. Your favorite in this category, Bard.
Well, when I took my notes down for this, I didn't pretend I made notes for the purposes of joke. When I took my notes down for this, I wrote down that the choice for these coaches is quite a battle. Oh, wait, no, I didn't write battle. I wrote Battalion, right? Because I'm going to pick Andy. I mean, it's all name rec, right? Battalion are doing incredibly well as a team.
We're going to kill Booth.
There are so many different... There's so many different coaches here who have seriously made a difference on their teams, but only one of them really makes me just go, yes, that's the coach. Sorry, not yes. C Andy. So, yeah, Andy's for sure.
What?
My pick.
Yeah.
What just
I'm kinda
happened?
bad with some of these jokes.
What did
all
you
right?
do?
man.
I've been here for a while.
God. What?
Booth is just so done with us at this point.
Wait,
He's like,
Booth.
what did I sign up for?
Look, I figured I
tonight?"
could fit another joke in there.
First,
That was
I
a
need
good
you-
one. I like that one.
First, can you give
That
me
was
the phone number
unexpected.
to your
I like it.
therapist? And second, can you name me your dark horse?
Yes, for Dark Horse, tough ones to go with here. I think there's probably a lot of Dark Horse coaches that maybe don't even get rostered for a lot of teams that help them with like individual reviews to go in for some other players. So with that in mind, though, I'm sticking on the Flying Lions train. I'm going with Ellie. I think is very helpful for their team. It's obviously the team was a little lower SR coming in, a lot of newer players, some people coming up from the Harmony tier from last season, and it's pretty obvious that the coaching's helped them out to continue in here and be so dominant here in stage 2 and into the playoffs.
All right. We're going to go to the montage now. I promise you there are more puns coming. And also, after that, me and Booth have a date with some punishment.
Yeah.
It's going to be coming around the corner here at the very end of this cast tonight. So let's
Get
to the
him,
montage.
get him.
Darling, I've been tempted by the darkness, telling me that I should throw it all away. Fight so hard, my heart is hardly helpless. Find myself so desperate on my knees to break. And I hear the voice of an angel telling me not to lay it down. And I feel the spirit guiding And I hear the voice of an angel telling me not to let it go. And I feel the spirit guiding, telling me not to hold on to every promise I've been praying for tonight. I hold on to every comment, won't surrender, not tonight. Won't surrender, not tonight. Won't surrender, not tonight.
All right, thank you so much to Demel for that fantastic montage, guys. That's our final montage of the regular season, and probably the last montage you're gonna see until the end of the playoffs.
Till the
So,
finals, yeah.
Yeah, until
Yeah.
finals. You're probably not going to see another one of these montages, guys. So I want to give a quick shout out here to all the editors that we had this season. Caden, Demel, Falcon, Void Kit. You guys popped off in a big way for us this season. Thank you so much. We appreciate everything you guys did. Caden is putting together a comms check for the last week. We'll be showing that off on next week's podcast. So
Mhm.
all right, let's get to our final bit, which is the Harmony tier nominations, and we'll go first to our main tanks. Main tanks in the Harmony tier. We start with Blaine and Game from Doodles. Next, over to Erez from Flashbacks. Blood Hungry from Jetpack Cats. We go to Caden from Maelstrom. Next, from Modify, Instante. From Nocturnal is Astrid. From Phantasmal is Anima. And from Void is Narcissist. All right. Who's the standout favorite on this one? Captain Jack.
You know, Yeti said we needed to speed things up. Good thing I made this short and sweet. Caden, Fat Shatters, Diving Ryan, Bomb comms check, mic drop. That's
right.
it. That's
Dark
all I
Ho-
got. That's
Dark
all I got.
horse in this category, then NPC.
Okay, Dark Horse. Now I've got lots of time to list all the players and why I didn't choose them. But actually, for the Dark Horse, it's all about name recognition. I think Blaine and Game, really a dark horse here. Fantastic player, doesn't get a lot of credit, and we don't talk about Doodles a whole lot. But Doodles definitely a pretty scary team, and Blaine and Game is a big part of that.
We are going to instantly go over to Off Tank now. I just had to do that for the chat because they were desperate for an Instante.
Thank you.
Pub.
I was going to do it if not.
Yeah, I know. You're welcome,
Yeah.
everybody in chat. Let's go to your Off Tanks. You have Dry Farm from Doodles, Solitary Bird from the Fighting Potatoes, Holy Jalapenos from, Bethcon from the Holy Jalapenos. Wow. Wow.
After Dark's getting to us.
After Dark's getting to us, guys. Kiddo from the Jetpack Cats, Toxic Blade from Nocturnal, Sips Tea from Royals, Styonisis from Miami Yikes, and Dire Raven from Void. Guys, it is the Iris After Dark, and I am slowly losing my mind.
Not slowly anymore.
Booth, who's your favorite here?
Well, if it wasn't evident from if you've ever watched the podcast of any highlights ever, Sips Tea from Royals. Diva's been my hero for years, and I still can't understand how Sips Tea gets bombs like that all the time. It's insane.
Sips Tea, an incredible Diva player, won this category last season, if I remember correctly.
I think
in the
so.
Harmony tier. I believe that's the case. Yes. So,
Wow.
really, really good off tank player. No question about that. Who's the underdog? Who's the dark horse here? Bard.
Yeah, a little less name recognition, a little more talent than that recognition kind of merits. I think they're way better than the merit that the words are hard than how much we speak of them. So I picked Toxic Blade from Nocturnal. Toxic's a great kid. He's super good on those off tanks. Really, really strong. I think he's kind of slept on right now.
Toxic Blade, fantastic player from Nocturnal. Let's take it over to your projectile DPS nominees here in the Harmony tier. Starting off from Delta Threat, Chaos Clan. From Flashbacks, Nova. From the Holy Jalapenos, Teddy Fresh. From the Jetpack Cats, the Master of the Genji Blade, Sensa. From Modify, Bard. What? Hold on. Is this broken? Okay. Bradito or Biscuit from Pantheon. Turtles from the Miami Yikes. And from Ultraviolet, Sunless Fiber. All right. NPC. Interesting.
I'm uniquely
7 deserving nominees. Who do you got?
I'm uniquely qualified to talk about projectile DPS. Okay. I think about Farah one tricks. I think about May one tricks. I got to think about, the people that can play those heroes like a song, and it's got to be Bard from Modify. When you think about a Farah one trick, you think about Bard. When you think about a May one trick, you think about Bard. The name comes to mind, and there it is.
If I win this season, I'm going to be really disappointed in all of you as viewers.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. Okay.
Do it for the meme, folks.
Do it for the meme. If you want to see him play in the All-Star game, you gotta.
Oh my goodness.
Who's gonna pocket Bard in the All-Stars if Wit's not around?
Captain Jack, give me a dark horse.
All right. When talking about a dark horse, you will not see this player hiding in their shell, and that's Turtles of the Miami Yikes. You want to know why they have so many S's at the end of their name? Because they're really just like a snake, sneaky and ready to strike at any moment. And that is all that we have seen from them. The Miami Yikes having a hard stage 1 and 2 as well. But I think these playoffs, we might see Turtles bringing them up there.
S is for sandbagging.
Yes.
S for
sandbagging.
And S is also for hit scan, as we take it to your best hit scans here in the Harmony tier. Starting off with Lazuli from the Fighting Potatoes, Seraph from the Flashbacks, Jetpack Cats players Shady Bee. Then on to Courage, we have the Widow 1v1 winner, Dwang. Then on to Modify is Hegel. Then Redcoast from Nocturnal. Yoon from Pantheon. And last but certainly not least is Choo Choo from Royals. Great category. Great players all around here. Nobody's arguing that, guys. Who's the standout here in your eyes, Bard?
So I've been informed a couple times that it's kind of a dick move to pick your own teammates when you talk about these categories. So I decided I'd cheat the system and pick a former teammate. So I went with Seraph, formerly of Boop, now of Flashbacks, who is kind of cracked out of his mind, honestly. Just an all-around fantastic hit scan player.
Right. I want to say dark horse, but I don't know if there is a dark horse in this category. It's kind of an unfair category to pick a dark horse in. Because there's 8 legitimate winners here.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
Yeah,
good
luck.
Bard and I were even discussing that when we were double checking on picks. There's even dark horses who weren't even nominated. You could have gone with Shadow from Void from tonight if you saw that. I think Stonky was great on Miami Yikes, but I went with Yoon from Pantheon. If you haven't caught any of their games, or if you didn't catch the Widowmaker 1v1s, Yoon is a steady carry on that team. She's just, and it's not even the fact of Yoon necessarily popping off. You have to if you're going up against Pantheon, you know Yoon is going to be there, and you plan to play against that, and that affects your mindset the whole time anyway.
100% true, no question about that. Taking over your support lines now here in the Harmony tier. Starting off with the main supports, we have Pazuzu from Delta Threat. Now to Bagel Friend from Doodles. Next, from Flashbacks is Cry. Down to Modify, the Mercy One Trick himself, Wit Mitten.
Oof.
Oasis Girl from Nuke. From Pantheon is Day. From Ultraviolet, Malalia. And from Void, Hal 9000. All right, good category here. Contains your Harmony tier MVP in Season 4 in Malalia. Who is the favorite in this one here? It started off Captain Jack.
See, I gotta say, although Malalia, I love you so much, but the fan favorite for main support just makes the enemy cry by the way they continue to keep their team alive, and that's Cry of the flashbacks. You don't get to be one of the top tiers in the Harmony tier by deciding to heal every now and again. You know, those heals are always got on point. They're always wiping the tears of their teammates and slapping them back into the fight so they can heal them some more.
All right. NPC, who's your dark horse here?
Okay, my dark horse gotta be somebody who doesn't heal any of the team, just heals one person and one person only the entire game. Okay, and it's gonna be Whitmitten from Modified because Bard cannot play the game without consistent, constant healing.
Yay.
I play one
Okay.
hero.
One hero, and then he needs that
Only one.
one mercy pocket. And you said who's gonna pocket Bard in the All-Star game? It's gonna be Whitmitten.
I have been asked to make a change, and I want to announce it really quick. Apparently, it's pronounced Daye. That's Daye from Pantheon, not Day. Daye. I apologize for this atrocious mistake. Let's take it over now to your flex supports in the Harmony tier. Flex supports in this one, we start with like the category. There we go. From Boop, Dispel. From Doodles, Magsol. From the Fighting Potatoes, let's go to the core. From the Jetpack Cat, Sergio Spade. From Nocturnal is Memorex. From Pantheon, Yojimbo. H Scrambles from Royals. And from Ultraviolet, Rainbow. Who is the favorite in this category, Booth?
So I was complaining about having to pick the dark horse in Hitscan. I had the hardest time with flex support, honestly. But I ended up going with Magsol from Doodles. I think Magsol has been really important to their success this season, and maybe even more of a dark horse, to be honest, now that I'm saying it out loud. But I think Magsol has a lot of name recognition in the community and has been playing very well for them, obviously, but a well-deserving role for them.
All right. And Dark Horse here, who do you have on this one, Bard?
Yeah, it's a tough one to pick a dark horse for. All these players are really good. All these players are really well known. But I decided to go with a player who struggled a bit early on. Their team struggled, and I don't think they got the recognition that they deserved because their team was struggling. So I went with Rainbow from Ultraviolet. We hyped up Ultraviolet a lot. Stage 1 was not their stage. But I think Rainbow's consistently been really, really good on that team and deserves the recognition.
All right. Let's go now to the most improved players. There's a couple more categories left, folks. Most improved players in the Harmony tier. From the Fighting Potatoes is Cog. From Flashbacks, Erez. From Get Off My Land, Thuggington. From the Holy Jalapenos is Atlas. From Pantheon, Shinigami. From Royals, H Scrambles. From Ultraviolet is Rainbow. And then from Venom Cheese, Cat Mask. Again, nice category here, guys. Lots of players who definitely gotten better throughout the season. Who's your favorite NPC?
Favorite player, when I look at most improved, I think about players, that from season to season, I think about through their entire career. And the truth is, you got players that, they get stuck on one role and you just don't know how good they are until you give them a chance to flex a little bit to something else. And this season on Get Off My Land, Thuggington got that chance and just took everybody by surprise. A little bit. I'm just saying, nobody expected Thug on Zarya to actually be any good, and he was. I think that's improvement right there. People were taken aback every single time we played on King's Row. When he got to play the
Zarya is
offense.
cracked.
It's pretty insane. I'm just saying,
It is.
Moira one trick now, like plat level Zarya. You don't get more improved than that.
Yeah.
I would like to retract my previous statement of I'll be really disappointed if you vote for me and I win. I'll be disappointed if Thug wins and I don't, so that I can't beat him in the All-Star game.
All right. Next
Challenge accepted.
Next up, most improved, Captain Jack, who's your dark horse?
All right. So lucky for me, helping out with the beat drop this season, just so you know, every night after the feature match at youtube.com/OW Tranquility. This dark horse has the power of anime on their side, and that's Shinigami off tank for Pantheon. Not only has this player improved this season in physical skill, but they are the positive force behind the scenes that keeps Pantheon moving forward, always looking for that silver lining in every match they play and boosting the confidence of their other teammates. Screw Dark Horse. Shinigami is the most improved stallion of light in the Harmony tier.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
awesome.
That's a
Breaking the
glowing
yeah.
endorsement.
I am on a trip here just listening to that.
Yes, I am. Anybody else feel like they consumed some weird stuff?
Yeah.
Like,
No, we're
I feel right at home.
I am
Right at
feeling
home.
interesting things right now. Anyways, let's go to coach. Best coach of the Harmony tier. Starting off with the Fighting Potatoes, Telm J. Can. The Mallard from the Holy Jalapenos. Vila, who was actually the best off tank in season 4. From the Jetpack Cats. Robert from Nocturnal. Mazen Asian from Pantheon. Smugs from Phantasmal. Normac from the Royals. And Pika from Void. Lots of great coaches in this tier, guys. No question about that. All over the board here. Fantastic coaching. Who is your standout? Who is your favorite here, Bard?
Yeah, there's some fantastic coaches here. And I think of all of them, it's really easy to say that Vila's the favorite, right? We all know Vila.
Yep.
Literally everyone knows Vila. He's a great dude. Jetpack Cats are doing fantastic. He's a big reason for that. I know a lot of the players on Jetpack Cats. Senza hasn't pulled his blade out once outside of spawn since Vila started really laying into him as a coach. So that's big improvement. And I think Vila is owed a lot of credit for Jetpack Cat's success.
Who's your dark horse in this category here, Booth?
Tough one, but I went back to Pantheon with Maze and Asian. I think really helpful for their team. You'll catch that in the beat drop as well. I know they go over that, but well deserving again. And I just hit the thing on my chair. I'm not having an earthquake, I promise.
You can tell that we've all completely hit. You can tell that we're all slowly losing our mind. This is the Iris podcast after dark.
After dark.
Back to 8:30 next time, please.
All right, we have 2 more categories now, guys, just to get through. These are categories for people that aren't defined by a tier. These are categories for contributors to our community who make the Tranquility community what it is. Because let's face it, there are a lot of fantastic Overwatch tournaments out there. There really are. But there are certain things that make our community special, and I am a firm believer in that. There is dedication from this community to make this place thrive, and it's clear, and that's what we love about it, and that's why we do what we do. But there are so many people who put in so much time. You know, I sit here, I get to be the host of the Iris podcast. NPC's here all the time. Bard's here, you know, like we're staff. We know that. Captain Jack's a brand new member of the staff. You know, he knows like he knows what we do every day. He sees it. You know, like we get it. Booth, brand new to the staff as well. He gets, you know, we put in a lot to this. It's no question about that. But, you know, these guys also got their start as people who just put their effort into helping the community. You know, NPC won this award back in season 2, if I remember correctly. You know, Captain Jack's been a contributor to the community since last season. Booth's been a contributor to this community for the past 2 seasons. So you look at everybody gets their start, and now look, these guys are on staff. They're contributing here daily to the Tranquility community.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Bard, we know you're not staff, but you're not staff.
Don't blame me when
All right,
things
so
go
let's
wrong.
start off with your best casters. I love our Twitch production. As a reminder, we have one of our casting veterans for our community who's really not got no time to cast for us because he's too busy casting for, you know, contenders.
Insane.
Man.
Yeah, by the way,
insane.
contenders, that's Door, arguably the voice of the Tranquility community in season 3 and 4. Door is off now casting contenders. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Can't get
Just
over
insane.
that. So guys, just because we're a tiny little T14 tournament, as some people have called us, doesn't mean you can't. This place could be a stepping ground for you if you really want to get into casting. So,
Does it
anyways,
really
best
go that
caster
low?
nominees here. We have Vol Nalo. We have K-Wing. We got, hey, it's Booth. Hey, Booth.
Hey!
We got Gizmo Charman. We got Billy Got. Next is Captain Jack.
Who's that
I
guy?
know him. I
Oh,
know
who's that
him.
guy?
Who him?
We have
New to the
Shimanzi. And last but not least is Feedle himself. All
Hey,
right.
you lay off my queen needle.
I gotta lay off my Queen Needle. NPC, who's your favorite caster here?
My favorite caster. I mean, he's listening. He's gonna hurt me if I don't
I'm
say
done.
it.
No.
It's Booth. It's Booth. It's definitely. Booth is my favorite.
See, NPC wants to cast the All-Star game, and he knows he is not going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Somebody.
Back to back. It's a mouthful. I don't need that.
All right, Bard, who's your favorite
Thank you,
here?
NPC.
Well, I mean, let's go through achievements, right? Stepped up to help us with casting this season when we really needed to. Has stepped up to cover so many games for us. He's stepped up to help us on the podcast when we were down people and we needed some rotating slots.
No.
He's stepped up to fill in on the
goes.
beat drop when that slumped behind and we needed help with that.
Oh man.
He's had the fattest shatter calls in the game.
True.
It's
The
Captain.
correct.
Oh my
Got it.
god.
Captain
Oh my
Jack.
god.
Pick.
Guys, there are-
If there's one thing I regret this season, it's that I have not gotten to cast that much because I want to be doing more games with Jack because it's a blast. You
It's
never
fun.
don't have energy casting with Jack. I could do like 2.5 minutes straight of play-by-play if I know that Jack is there to scream when I'm done. So it's got to be Jack.
Hey, and guys, I will say we have a lot of very talented casters here. There's no question about that. If you're interested in getting involved in our productions, that is a great way to contribute to the community. Maybe not this season, but you know what? Season 6 is not that far away. And if you want to get
Yes.
trained on how to be a producer, because God knows we could use
Please,
producers.
please.
Producers
Please.
are always in
Please.
high demand. But if you
Yes,
want to be
please.
a producer or if you want to help be a voice caster here as well, get in touch with Booth. He's a great resource for you guys, and we can work with you in the off season to help build up that build up your production levels or build up your casting repertoire. We had Door do a lot of casting coaching for people here as well.
Mhm.
So I know Captain Jack would be more than willing to help you out as
Oh,
well. Like
absolutely.
we have people who
Absolutely.
want to help you. So get involved. It's a great way to be a part of the community here, guys. So let's get over now to the non-staff contributors. Again, these are contributors to the community in ways that aren't just being a caster. These are people who have committed their time, energy, and resources into making the Tranquility community a better place. Let's start off now with Falcon, one of your editors this season here, and the creator of the intro for the or for everything, by the way. Caden Caden, who provided the comms checks. We have Bard, who exists. We have Vila.
Sometimes.
We have Vila as well. We have Demel, one of the editors here for the podcast. Light Rose, who took over the beat drop and has done a lot of work for the community. We have Gizmo Charman, one of your beat drop hosts and longtime caster. We got Death Knot as well, one of your podcast hosts. Guys, lots of good talent here. Lots of people who put in time and effort into the community. Who is your standout here, Booth?
Mine's going to go to Caden, although I think all well-deserving. Caden's comm checks have been so great this season. It's one of my favorite parts every week to watch, and I'm looking forward to the comms check this week when she gets it finished.
No question. Captain Jack, who's yours?
See, I would be remiss if I didn't shout out my unintentional duo partner for season 5, and that's Gizmo Charmander. From casting a handful of matches together, from recording multiple episodes of the Beat Drop. We just did episode 12 tonight, and we have every night booked for like the next week.
Wednesday team.
I just could not do it without him. They have done so much for this community and really deserve some recognition for their hard work.
Definitely. Gizmo has done fantastic work here, no question. Really, all 8 of these nominees are fantastic members of the community. A lot of you are probably wondering right now, how do we vote for these guys? So polls will be up tomorrow. You will be able to vote in those polls. They'll be just Google Forms. Here's a couple of rules and stipulations, though. When you fill out your ballot, you can't vote for anybody on your team.
Ooh.
We
That's
throw out
right.
your whole ballot.
We
Like, if
will
you vote
literally
for
throw
someone
out
on
your
team, we throw out your
entire
whole
ballot if you vote for one person on your team. We take it that seriously because honestly, if we did that, it would kind of just be lame. Like, oh, cool, my teammate is awesome. Yeah, we know you love your teammates. That's why you're teammates. You know, like we get that, but we want to. But out of fairness, we want people to vote for who is a player that they recognize who is not their teammate necessarily, unless you're actually voting for your teammate who is a player.
Nobody vote for
as long as your teammate is not your teammate.
Nobody vote for your teammate unless you're voting for your teammate. And yes, that is confusing. So anyways, how you vote, polls will be posted up in the announcements channel tomorrow, so be on the lookout for those. Those polls will be up, and again, you will need to identify who you are, what team you play for, and yes, this is only for people who are currently playing on teams. That is currently playing on teams or coaching a team. That means you have to be an active coach on that team in the Tranquility community.
What if your team was eliminated?
Well, it sucks.
I mean, hypothetically, if my team were eliminated.
But you're still in and can vote in this.
Okay.
But anyways, we do check these ballots and we check for shenanigans. And if we see them, we have literally thrown out the entire poll before. So please don't make us do that, guys, because it actually sucks. Yeah. All right. So we'll have that out to you guys tomorrow. So stay tuned for that.
I think we do have a quick question there. Yes. I think people are asking if that applies to casters, non-staff contributors, if they're on your team, but yet they...
If they're on your team, it is not a. If they are on your team, it is not a staff-related award, or it is not a play-related award. So I would say it's fine if they're on your team for those unaffiliated categories or untier affiliated categories.
All right. There you go.
But that said, if you vote Bard, you're throwing.
Yeah. I mean, at this point.
No, but in all seriousness, guys, those polls will be up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. We have one last thing to get to here tonight, and that is a little bit of punishment for me and Booth. So at the beginning of the season...
How much you doing?
At the beginning of the season, we did a little game called Pick Your Horse, and if you lost, you had to do a spice challenge on the podcast. Now, you've seen me die before from spice during admin week, now, or during event week. Now you get to see us eat Sonoran Spice Company's Carolina Reaper Pebbles. These are covered in a pepper powder that is 2.2 million Scoville units. They're little, basically nerds with an edge. So how much are you doing?
Nerds with an edge.
It's an aggressive edge.
I'm doing like a
apathy. We don't care.
I got probably like 25.
That was me and my friends in high school. Nerds with an edge.
I got a capful.
You got a capful? I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a capful. That's probably more reasonable than what I was just doing. Hold on.
Let me just drink them like they're nerds out of a Nerds box.
For the record, I love spice, and these are hot.
They're hot, but they're really tasty.
They're really tasty, but they are really hot. And granted, I've been eating them one at a time. This is way more than one.
I've never had more than one. So
Booth, cheers.
Bottoms up, friend. Cheers.
Oh boy, here it comes, folks.
More than one is a mistake.
So just so you know, Carolina Reapers are some of the hottest peppers in the world, reaching over 1 million Scoville units. So
as soon as you swallow, that's when you feel it.
I was saying in chat, and I think this is a good idea. We get the hot ones, one that's basically just chemicals, like there's nothing actually in it, and you pour that in a bowl. And then you pour those in a bowl and eat them like
Spice X. Oh, I recently saw that on a video, like 3 million Scoville units. Oof.
I think that'd be cool. I think we should do that.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm getting hiccups.
I mean, I think people are gonna die on this podcast if we start
NPC
going that direction.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Close us out, NPC.
No, close us out.
I think
for joining us today on the Irish Podcast After Dark. This was a special edition. We'll be back next week with a full loaded cast. Everybody from the podcast, everybody will be here. We'll be doing brackets going forward. We'll be announcing our brackets all the way from the opening to the finals, to the Omega finals, to the finals, all the way to the end. We're going to take it all the way. It's going to be amazing. And if Yeti doesn't die, that's what we're going to do. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.